This video will be a film study to look at some of the Lions' defensive coverage choices and execution against the Chiefs on Saturday from a competition standpoint, from a difficulty standpoint. I thought some of these guys acquitted themselves quite well. Kendall Vildor, Khalil Dorsey, Ifeatu Melifonwu, Amik Robertson, except for the one play, the touchdown to Xavier Worthy. They were definitely there to cover, compete, and challenge, and in some cases I thought did so very efficiently. They held Patrick Mahomes and the starters for the Chiefs to 2 field goals on the opening possessions. Of course, the Lions offense held everyone out from a personnel standpoint. The starters weren't playing. In most cases, second stringers weren't either. So despite an improved performance from Nate Sudfeld, the Lions, were unable to match points until later on in the game when you got to more of a combination of third string and still some second string players on both sides of the ball. I'm going to focus on the early game coverage calls when Mahomes, Kelsey, Worthy, and Rashee Rice are in the game. Of course, I'm going to talk about the touchdown that Robertson gave up to Worthy. Really disappointing play. Weird how Detroit played it. Robertson is definitely playing a route tendency, if you ask me, and I'll try to set that up earlier in the video to explain it to you. Wentz seemed to read it perfectly, and there was no help. There was no help at all. Worthy gets his first career touchdown, even though it's in the preseason. I thought the Chiefs, were trying to feature Worthy early. Maybe force feed him wasn't the right word in my reaction video, but 6 targets and 1 called reverse over the course of the first 3 possessions does come across as, to me, an overt attempt to get him the ball, to get him some plays off against the Lions' backups, or guys who at least won't be full-time starters. Let's do it that way. Nonetheless, I thought Aaron Glenn's group competed up and down the roster at every level. Mitchell Agude, hopefully I'm saying that name correctly, number 50. He seems like an athletic dude. I understand he was an undrafted free agent last year, cut by the Dolphins. He made plays yesterday. Matthew Betts had a sack. Josh Pascal, of course, has the strip sack, the game-turning strip sack late in the fourth quarter. I'm going to focus on first and second quarter coverage calls and execution, and then briefly show some of the snaps where Betts, Ukwu, Agude, and Pascal had an impact as well. This first one is the third down that's, I believe, is a blown coverage by the Lions up to the top side. They're motioning Worthy, who clearly should have been called for a penalty. Nonetheless, 40, I'm not sure what he's doing in terms of trying to defend the play. Those guys are definitely bothered by the fact that you have an early start. Motioning across makes it look like it's going to be man, and you certainly have a man set up here across the board. Pre-snap. Post-snap, Kelsey is being manned up here by, I think, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. For whatever reason, up here to the top side, Amik Robertson and 29 Vildor are funneling these two together, which I think is a good option when you're playing the Chiefs because they like to pick shield or rub concepts often, and I think I'll give you one explanation of that. Joseph, 40, is staring in the backfield with zero recognition of a route running right by him. You know, regardless of, I think it's Vildor being beat by Worthy, very unusual to me to blow that coverage like that. In my opinion, Joseph, when you've got trips to that side, oftentimes the Chiefs do love to run dual left to right kind of post routes, with the second route being a kind of a skinny over concept. That's what you'll see often. Additional to that, you oftentimes get stuff like this where they bring it back. So there's a combination of routes that look the same up to about here, maybe 8 to 10 yards depth. 40 doesn't seem to have any awareness of the routes at all. I'm not sure what coverage is being played there from his standpoint. 39-yard gain to Worthy, who's certainly quite fast. 2nd and 8, later on in that possession, I feel like they play this extremely well. Worthy motions over into the boundary, runs the little shallow drag. Melifonwu being really physical with Kelsey. I'm not saying that you're going to shut Travis Kelsey down by being physical. I know this. I've got 11 catches of his against the Ravens in the AFC title game. They did none of this shit right here at all in the AFC title game. Didn't even really touch him until after he caught the ball. Can Melifonwu defend him like that all game long? and give him trouble and stop him? No. Travis Kelce's going to make plays. He's a Hall of Fame tight end. But making things difficult for someone, especially early in the game, and from a receiver slash tight end standpoint, has a cumulative effect. I absolutely believe that. Additional to that, up top, you've got Amik Robertson, who I thought covered extremely well prior to the touchdown by Worthy. He's on Rashee Rice up to the top side of the screen, basically blanketing the out. No real options there for Mahomes. Again, it's a 2nd and 8, and he's forced to pretty much throw it away. I think it's Ukwu initially against the left tackle, unable to get anything done. Mahomes, his internal clock was running enough such that he knew he had to get rid of the ball. Pacheco covered up as well. 3rd and 8, very next play. Mesh concept. This is a perfect example of what the Chiefs like to do to get certain guys open, whether it's Kelce, whether it's Rice, or whether in this case it's Xavier Worthy. Watch Travis Kelce on the underneath drag. I call it mesh. He's going to basically stutter, hesitate here because he's trying to pick or rub or shield someone, and then he's going to execute a second shield or rub, whatever you want to call it, on his route. This is a dummy route by him. He's only there to shield or pick someone running in man, which in this case is against Xavier Worthy. Jalen Reeves-Maybin does a fantastic job of stepping up, just sliding enough underneath of Kelce's pick rub, and the edge defenders are forcing Mahomes to step up, throws it to Worthy. Jalen Reeves-Maybin is there. I thought he did a nice job 3 times in coverage on Saturday afternoon. Second possession, Mahomes and those guys still in. As much as I'm complimentary, maybe overly so in your opinion, of some of the coverage choices and the things the guys did against Mahomes, Kelce, Rice, and Worthy, this one is a poor choice. This is Tampa 2, and the moment Mahomes sees this from trips, it's quite easy. You may say, well, Coach, I think Amik Robertson should be closer to Rashee Rice. He's in no man's land. This is a Tampa 2 where 51 is basically playing the middle of the field on a vertical. As you know, they played a lot of Tampa 2 against the Giants the week before. 2 hash droppers, Robertson and Jalen Reeves-Maybin. You got your force corners here in the flats in the case of Vildor. And I think that is Dorsey up to the top. And then your 2 high safety look, Joseph and Melifonwu. As soon as Mahomes sees the Mike backer getting vertical, it's automatic. Quick decision. That's one of the things about Mahomes, besides the pre-snap stuff, besides the ability to escape and make unbelievable throws on the move. Post-snap recognition. He's seen so many reps and so many coverages. I felt like this was a poor one on a 3rd and 8, but I understand that you were kind of scared off, perhaps, from an Aaron Glenn perspective from the previous 3rd down where Xavier Worthy took advantage of a busted coverage. So you want to play a little bit safer look from a safety perspective and go too high. Forgive me for that. Later on, same possession. And I think Rashee Rice, the guy in motion, is going to beat Dorsey on a China out. This is man-to-man. Robertson, again, is the guy matched up with Worthy down here at the bottom in the slot. Dorsey running across with Rice, so you've got a man-free situation. Man on 83, the tight end. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, man on the running back. Here's the China out, faking the drag, and then bringing it back to the sideline. Dorsey tries to undercut it, but perfectly timed throw by Mahomes, if you ask me. Very quick, very accurate, obviously. Nice job, I thought, on the bull rush up to the top side. I believe that's Agude who hit the ground. Ends up being a 7-yard gain on a 2nd and 10. This is the behind the back, the very next play, second possession, 3rd and 3. Giving the end zone angle first so you can appreciate it. I think that 40, again, has betrayed what to me is his responsibility, which is the tight end to the boundary. I'll let this run one time from the end zone and then the all 22 so you can hopefully see what I'm talking about. Hopefully I can do a good job of explaining it to you. Into the boundary. Kelce motioning across left to right. Joseph goes with him. Post snap certainly looks like to me you've got man here, Robertson on Watson, and then man up to the top side. Pascal collapses down on Kelsey. Fake to the running back, steal. Mahomes keeps it around the edge. The Chiefs are a right-handed football team on third down in a lot of ways. Look at the Super Bowl in the fourth down when Bosa ran with the running back. They're a right-handed football team. Often you're going to have Kelsey to the right, running back to the right, play fake / RPO. In this case, Pascal collapses down, and then it would be his job to redirect and go with the quarterback. I believe that 40 has betrayed his responsibility, which is the man, Kelsey, who makes the catch. Beautiful play. Oh, my apologies. I'm in trouble with my mouse. So here's the same play from the end zone angle. You're welcome to let me know what you think. I think 40's eyes are totally on Mahomes, betrayed again, just like that third down on the first possession, the 39-yard catch to Worthy. Same possession. Robertson's going to be on Worthy, down at the bottom side of the screen. Mahomes ends up throws it. Agude's got a quarterback pressure against the right tackle. I don't think that ball is necessarily thrown in a place that Worthy can catch it. Melifonwu on Kelsey. I think Agude wins here against the right tackle. And here is Robertson, who is on Worthy. Little stutter fade. Robertson doesn't go for it. I'm not sure if he gets a pass defense there or not. Worthy was clearly out of bounds. Then a screen to the backup running back, or perhaps third or fourth string running back steal. Agude with a tackle for loss. He was impressive to me. Maybe he runs into this play. I love a 3-4 mentality with your edge defenders, meaning don't let a running back cross your face. Knock the shit out of him, chip him, whatever you got to do. I'm not exactly sure that's what happens here. Maybe Agude just has great eyes and sees the ball thrown out in the air, but it's a tackle for loss. I think a 9-yard gain forces the Chiefs to settle for a second field goal. Unfortunately, the Lions fumble away the ensuing kickoff, and now you've got a 1st and 10. Worthy is going to only get 1 yard on the screen. I think it's an amazing play by Amik Robertson, the nickel, to knife outside. You got a huge gap to cover in this situation. Pre-snap, here's your gap between 2 and 1. So from a force player perspective, on a bubble, a toss, or whatever, you're talking about you got a wide swath of the field to cover. Robertson has moved inside. Play fake to steal. Wentz kind of throw. I thought it was almost a backwards throw, but in any case, Robertson don't make this tackle. You've got Worthy with a heck of a lot of speed, potentially running downhill. Do you have an inside-out linebacker? But it's a great job to navigate the blocker and get around here and make a tackle for loss. Unfortunately, 2 plays later, 3rd and 7. I'm not sure what's going on here with Melifonwu, why he's running with a drag by number 1. You certainly have some coverages where you want to double team a backside X. You got an extremely high-level X receiver, backside receiver, and you want to double him, take him out of the play. Cool. Justin Ross is a young man that I really like. I love his story. I'm glad he's in the league. I'm not sure that on a drag underneath the 5 yards, we need the safety to the field taking that. Am I absolving Amik Robertson of responsibility? No. To me, it looks like he's trying to cover this route here that I kind of diagrammed earlier. Watch him kind of undercut this. It is a 3rd and 7, so that's the route that he's looking for. Wentz has smartly thrown the ball out in front. Easy touchdown for Worthy. I'm a little embarrassed for Robertson because of how well he played on some of these other snaps. I think you've got Betts up here against the left tackle. I believe that's still the 2nd-round pick for them. He's almost getting a win. I thought Betts looked good even though he only got 1 tackle officially. Then you have a series of possessions where the Lions are competing. Regardless of what the coverages are they're playing, I thought this was really cool how they switched the safeties really late. Great challenge by Vildor on Ross, who's a talented kid from Clemson, had some health concerns, ended up not being drafted. Here's Vildor up at the top. I'm rooting for Ross to succeed. I'm not rooting for him to succeed against the Ravens or the Lions for that matter, but you can see it's a great catch, great challenge by Vildor. 1 foot down, 2nd foot halfway in, halfway out, goes down as incompletion on the 4th possession, so they get a stop. Betts gets a sack on a clear win here on the 5th possession. I felt like while Mahomes and those guys are in the game, Aaron Glenn had his players, his defensive guys competing. Thereafter, I felt like they made a ton of really astute coverage slash blitz calls. I don't know what Lions media or other Lions content creators have said about it. I was impressed with how they competed. Mistakes made, certain guys open, maybe missed tackles, particularly on the screen to Prince later on. Nonetheless, I thought these guys competed. You got just an inside run by Betts, beats the right tackle clean, who's kind of maybe he's overset a little bit, but I just thought he looked slow in reacting, and it certainly looks like it's going to be man free again to me. Robertson's being helped out by the safety on number 2, man relationship by all these guys, and then man on the running back, end up getting a sack for an 8-yard loss. End zone angle, same play, only let this one flow through one time. Betts is off screen, right hand side of our screen, my apologies. Clearly a hold on Pascal by 66, not called. Dorsey's going to get a tackle for loss down here. Really cool reaction. Robertson is inside leverage of 2, which is Kadarius Toney. We've moved forward here to the 6th possession, by the way. Chiefs are almost constantly using motion to either sift out the coverage or force you to have some eye candy, oftentimes away from the point of attack. Great reaction here, if you ask me. You can see that Dorsey is looking at 2, which is Kadarius Toney. Slight play fake, to Prince. Wentz trying to get rid of the ball quick, and a great tackle dealing with a blocker as well by Dorsey for a 4 or 5 yard loss. Such a great tackle that when you watch it from the end zone angle, you don't even see it really happen. The ball is there before the cameraman and perfectly timed by Dorsey. If he's there a second earlier, hell, he's possibly called for pass interference. I think I must have skipped or missed the sack by Ukwu, so my apologies for that one. This is obviously the strip sack by Pascal. I was wrong in the reaction video. I thought it was a double screen, meaning a fake screen to one side and then bringing the screen back to the opposite. This is not. This is just designed to be a screen into the boundary on a 3rd and 16. So not as egregious a play call as I may have made it sound during the reaction video. Nonetheless, I would look, for my money, on a situation where we're trying to win the game in the regular season, which this is not. I'm looking for a safer play call and let my defense go play because I have a high-level defense with the Chiefs. Of course, we're talking about 2nd, 3rd, or in some cases even 4th-string guys being on the field, so I understand the situation is different. Nonetheless, with the 4th-string quarterback, this is not a play call that I'd be interested in being involved with. Pascal fired out of there like a cannon. I believe this is 50 again, up there to the top. Outside linebacker right there, getting in the window. I may be wrong. I'm not sure who that is. My apologies. Yeah, it is. It looks like a Goudet again. I don't know what you guys think. He looks like a underrated football player to me, at least so far through 2 games. You guys have to let me know if you were as impressed with some of the coverage choices, what some of the guys did out there that are 2nd string or even 3rd string. For me to see Dorsey and Vildor competing the way they did, I think it says a lot because those were guys that were decried last year, that were in some cases picked on, along with Cam Sutton. Obviously, that was a under-talented and underappreciated cornerback group who certainly didn't live up to the standard that the other Lions played to in the NFC Championship game. But to see them out there competing and playing well, I thought speaks well of the environment and of the culture that they have there from a coaching staff standpoint. They've been replaced or exceeded on the depth chart, clearly. Those guys are still in the Detroit organization, still playing hard, and at least on Saturday in a meaningless preseason game, they were able to hang around and keep up with the Chiefs, particularly once Mahomes and those guys, and Worthy got off the field and were no longer a threat. I will have a film study video out Monday afternoon or Monday evening on Sione Vaki, and I'll try to span the first 2 weeks of the preseason showing how impressive I think he's been. I have him at 14 touches overall on offense, not kick returns. I have him at 14 touches for 131 yards So like 9.3 yards per touch on offense overall. I think that's pretty significant. Certainly there's 3 guys ahead of him, but with his special teams ability as a coverage guy and with the ball in his hand, I think the Lions front office has to be given credit for drafting someone who can impact on special teams right now, but two ways, and then who could also be relied upon as a running back in the pass game specifically, if need be. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study look at some of the defensive coverage choices that Aaron Glenn made, and in some cases he had to because of the talent level they were facing, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach. Appreciate you guys' time.